One, two, three. This is Dr. Alex Avila with Love University, and we're back. Every week we talk about how to love yourself, others, and higher nature. I'm an author, psychologist, and speaker. And every week we talk about how to improve your life, bring more energy and love and positivity, and help you in your careers, your finances, your relationships, and your health. Now, this week we have a topic that I'm really happy to present. It is something that's going to affect us a lot in a positive way, especially as we get into the holidays and even beyond. It is a dynamic. It is an energy. The topic is loving kindness and compassion, your route to a joy-filled existence. When we hear the word compassion, we think about relieving the suffering of others. Loving kindness is part of that, being kind and gentle to others, and also the word empathy, putting yourself in other people's shoes, feeling as they feel. So the idea that we want to help other people feel better, and in a sense, we feel better as a result. Up to 30% of people in the U.S. volunteer, so a lot of people do believe in this idea. And the question is this instinctual, this idea to want to help other people and be kind and compassionate? Some research shows that it is. If you look at animals, even rats and chimpanzees often help other suffering parts of their species. Even 2-year-olds are known to have more happiness when they're able to give more treats to others. Now, Charles Darwin, he's well known for his theory of survival of the fittest. He also had a part of it that people don't know much about. It's called survival of the kindest. And he said that those societies where there's more sympathetic individuals flourish more and produce more offspring. And even in attractiveness studies, in terms of mate selection, they found that kindness is one of the most attractive traits in choosing a mate. Now, some people might be thinking, the cynical types, well, why should I be so nice to other people and help with their suffering? I'm suffering. I have my own problems. I have too many bills. I have relationship or career problems and other health problems, perhaps. Why should I help others? Aside from wanting to help humanity and contributing, there are actually benefits that you can receive when you are more compassionate. For example, physical benefits. Studies have shown that people who are more compassionate produce more of the hormone DHEA, which helps to reduce aging. Also, compassionate people have 23% less cortisol produced. Cortisol is a stress-related hormone. And less inflammation in their bodies, which is often a trigger to other illnesses like cancer. There are also psychological benefits to being compassionate and kind to others. Brain imaging studies show that when you give to others, it induces activity in the pleasure center of the brain. And also, other studies show that giving to others is more pleasurable than even receiving. They looked at 136 countries around the world, and they found that those people who give the most often have more well-being. And in the workplace even, where you think this might not be a big issue, compassion is very important. A couple of years ago, I presented some research at a conference talking about compassion in the workplace, how being more compassionate, empathetic to your coworkers or employees can reduce incivility, which is bullying and harassment, as well as increase the likelihood of more motivation, more loyalty, more productivity, and even the bottom line. So it's a very important concept to have this compassion in your personal life, in your work life, and career life. Now, who is compassionate? There are basically 4 elements to being a compassionate person. One is to be an observer, to be able to observe other people's suffering, to see the homeless person out there, the single mother with kids that has a hard time making ends meet, the lonely elderly person, to look at that and see the real situation. Also to be self-aware, know your own feelings. When you're feeling lonely or sad, when you feel those empty times, and you can connect with other people on the basis of your own feelings. Also seeing others as yourself, seeing that we have a lot in common, commonalities. We all look for happiness, we all love our families, we all want to reduce suffering and pain. And also have an imagination, being able to imagine yourself, if you were that person, that single mom that's struggling to pay the bills, that elderly person who's lonely, the child that doesn't have loving and affectionate parents, is actually see yourself in that point of view and put yourself like that is empathetic. And that's one of the keys of compassion. So compassion is so important, and loving kindness in terms of our personal well-being and also other people. How do we increase it? And research shows that we actually can increase it. It's like a muscle. You can increase your compassion on a daily basis. You can be more empathetic and loving toward others. But it does take work. You need to put effort into it to be able to improve your ability to care for the suffering of others. So let's talk about some strategies, some tactics we can use on a daily basis to improve our compassion level. First of all is having daily gratitude. This is something we talked about quite a bit on the show, and research does indicate that the more gratitude you show, the happier you will be, the better you will sleep, less depression. So every day you wake up, whether you keep a journal and write things that you're grateful for, or you just say it to yourself, I'm grateful for being alive, for my family, for my career, for people around me, for any talents I have, for any things that have happened to me that are fortunate or beneficial. And having that does increase your love for yourself and for others and for society in general. And also be grateful for those who have helped you in the past. Maybe it's been a parent, a friend, a coach, a pastor, a mentor. And as a result, you can also give that back eventually to other people, be a mentor and a helper to other generations. A very important aspect of compassion is to see compassion and kindness as a strength, not a weakness. Sometimes people say, well, if you're so kind and nice, people will take advantage of you and you'll be a pushover and you'll be weak. And it is important to have a firmness about you. There are times when people do try to take advantage of your niceness and kindness, or they don't reciprocate. So you need to realize that there should be a give and take. There should be a situation where you give energy out and it is returned in a certain direction. And if you don't have that, sometimes you may need to relocate your energy. You maybe find a new relationship or a new job or career situation where there is more of an even match, because you do want to be able to give and receive at the same time. Although giving is really your essence. That's what you emanate when you're a compassionate person. And that is actually very strong. The strongest people are often very compassionate, very caring and giving. Because here's an important point to remember, is that there is no fear in giving. There is only fear in taking. So when you give, especially without expectations, you give because you're a loving person, you're kind-hearted, it comes internally, you don't have any fear that you'll be rejected or that people won't like what you have to offer, because you just give it from who you are. When you give expecting something back, then you have a problem, because now you have strings attached. And now you're going to feel, if they don't give you what you want back, you're going to feel taken advantage of or rejected. So people that are very kind often have lower level of fear. They have more confidence in themselves because they know who they are. Now, one of the keys is developing first self-compassion, loving yourself first. And this is hard for a lot of people because we tend to be hard on ourselves. We criticize ourselves for so-called mistakes or inadequacies. So the first thing we need to do is see the good in yourself. What are your good qualities? Maybe you're smart. Maybe you're funny. Maybe you're good-hearted. Maybe you're a good cook. You make good lasagna. You're good with kids or animals. Whatever it is that is good about yourself, and maybe you don't see that very much, that's what you need to accentuate. Even ask your friends, what do you like about me? The other thing you need to do to develop self-compassion is to protect yourself like a child. With children, little children, we're very protective and we're very loving toward them. But oftentimes we forget that part of us is a little child at times. Maybe there's a part of us that was hurt as a child by our parents or the people around us. And we need to forgive ourselves and forgive others that may have hurt us, because that helps us to develop compassion for ourselves and love. And also we need to have boundaries. Now, sometimes we give a lot as people who are compassionate, and other people may, again, step over that and start to demand more from us. So we need to know when to say no, and the power of no, to be able to keep ourselves with integrity. And so we have enough energy to give in the right situations to the right people. We also need to learn how to do things less than 100%, especially if you're a perfectionistic person. Like you always say, I got to do it 100%. But then you chastise yourself for doing less than that. So say to yourself, I'm going to do this 90% or 85%. And that's good enough for now. I'm going to keep improving. And also give yourself room for setbacks. Sometimes you will not be feeling well. You might have a cold or flu, so you don't get as much done. Or you have a mechanical failure. Many times people get really upset when their computer breaks down, have car problems. They suffer and they take it very personally. Also, when they have so-called failures or setbacks, when things don't go their way, they often get down on themselves and say, I'll never find the right career or business. I'll never have the right relationship. But in reality, all these things are temporary. These so-called setbacks or situations can help you grow and learn, especially if you don't take it in a very personal way as if it has to do with your self-esteem. So forgive yourself and give yourself room to grow, and not everything has to be perfect the first time around. The other thing is to remember is that you are not alone. Sometimes, especially if you're more introverted energy and you spend a lot of time by yourself, you think, nobody cares about me. I'm never going to make it. And you don't realize that there are millions of people that are going through the same things, feeling lonely, feeling a little hopeless at times, feeling down and discouraged. But it's just part of the human nature, part of the human community. And by realizing that other people have the same feelings, you feel better. You feel you have a community of other people that also want to have happiness and reduce suffering. And then, of course, if you have friends, that's very important, that you have people you can talk to, people that you can put your energy and trust in that can also support you. Also, do what brings you energy. This is very important. Sometimes we get dragged down by our work obligations or other things, but find the things that rejuvenate you and re-energize you, whether it's a spiritual practice, meditation, exercise, poetry, art, being with nature, children, animals. Doing something that enlivens you and gives you energy is very important, because you can move beyond those stuck places in your life. And then put self-care first. Self-care is maybe exercise first thing in the morning or meditate. Give yourself a facial, a massage. Take a little mini vacation or mini break from work. Whatever it is, do that first because that's going to give you the feeling that you care about yourself. You love yourself. You want to take care of yourself first, and then you can take care of other people and children if you have them. So sometimes parents are overwhelmed. They spend so much time taking care of their children that they forget about themselves. But then they should realize that when you take care of yourself first, you have more love and more time and energy to give to your children. So now that we have self-compassion or are working on it, then we need to look outwardly to other people and see how can we help others relieve their suffering? How can we contribute to others, give to them? And one of the important things is to recognize the commonalities. How are you similar to other people? Because many times we look at how we're different, whether it's our age, our ethnicity, our race, our education, our culture, our social economic status. But in reality, deep down, we're very similar. And if I'm going to look at Reggie, my producer, who's here sitting with me right now, Reggie, you and I are a little bit different in our physical appearance. And, we're also a little different in age, and I think we have different backgrounds. But something, we have a lot of commonalities. We have something similar. First of all, we both have a nose, right? We have a mouth, we have a face, and we have eyes. So we have a body, shall we say. And also, we also have the desire to be happy. And we have the desire to be successful in life, in whatever field we choose. We also have the desire to have love and to eliminate suffering as much as we can from our life and to find contentment. And Reggie, you're wearing a Captain America shirt, I see here. It's kind of nice. So that's something you like. You like, is it cartoons or what is that you like?
Yeah, I like superheroes. Like growing up, I was on to all the cartoons and stuff, and I like some of the movies now. They can be hit or miss, but I try to watch them.
Okay, and I also like movies too, Reggie, and I kind of like superheroes as well. So we have more in common than I thought. And when you meet someone, it's good to ask some questions and find out, what are the commonalities? Maybe it's hobbies or interests. Maybe it could be religious or political views, but it could be something very simple as both of us love gardening, or we love a certain kind of animal, or we love to help other people in some ways. Something else that's very interesting in terms of showing compassion is to respect other people's privacy and boundaries. Now, we may not often think about this when we think of compassion, but let's say that there's someone that you might want to gossip about, but that is not really respecting their boundaries or their privacy. So avoiding gossip is an important aspect of showing compassion. Also, when someone is suffering, they are going through some difficult times, they may want to talk about it, but maybe they're not ready yet. So let them have the space and time until they are ready to talk to you about that thing. So give them that little space and that time for them to come out and eventually tell you what they need to tell you. Another aspect of compassion toward others is to appreciate and accept others as they are. This is something that we often find in relationships. When people get married, that they try to change each other. What they thought was attractive, maybe the person was quiet before and introverted, and now they say, you're such a couch potato. Or the person used to go out a lot and socialize, and now they say, well, you don't want to be home with me. What's the matter? But in reality, that's who they really were all along, and that's who they are. So if there are other things you love about the person, learn how to respect and appreciate what they offer you, and tell them what you like about them. Reggie, you're my producer. You're a very intelligent young man. You're competent. You're nice. And I know you're very compassionate. And also, you have good taste. I like that Captain America shirt. Okay. So you feel good, Reggie. Now, of course, if someone criticizes you, then it's a different story. And many times people do that. So we want to avoid over-criticizing. Now, there are times when you need to critique people about certain things. Maybe they're doing some bad behavior that's hurting themselves. It could be a bad habit or addiction, and you want to help them. So you give them a little bit of tough love. So critiquing can be very helpful at times. But most of the time, people want to receive something positive, a positive feedback, something that's good about themselves, so they can increase their self-love and their self-compassion. The other thing is that you can go out in the world and find people who are lonely and hurting and help them, comfort them. For example, you're at a party and you see the person by themselves sitting there, maybe very introverted or shy, and you might want to go up and break the ice and talk to them, or maybe help introduce them to somebody. Now, most of the time they're there because they want to maybe talk to someone, but they're either insecure about it or they're introverted energy. So find those people that are lonely and help them. That's going to help you feel better as well. And here's one of my favorites is empathy and role reversal. So start to put yourself in other people's shoes. How do they feel? That homeless person, the single mother, the elderly person, the person who's going through financial problems, maybe even bankruptcy, or the person's going through possibly a divorce. One exercise I like to give to people, I call it the arrogant rich homeless exercise. So find a partner, a friend of yours, And one of you is going to play an arrogant rich person. The other one's going to play a homeless person who's hurting. And then the arrogant rich person may say something like, well, you go to get a job. What are you doing out here? And then you're going to reverse that. So now the rich person becomes a homeless person and the homeless person becomes a rich person. And see what happens now is you have that change of perspective. Maybe the rich person is not humbled, or maybe the formerly homeless person now becomes arrogant, or maybe they realize, I come from that situation before, being poor and homeless. I can appreciate, I want to help you as well. So it can be a very fascinating exercise to practice and do it spontaneously, or you can even come up with dialogue. One of my recent guests, marital couple that were therapists and had been together for 50 years, gave me a very interesting piece of advice. They told me that what they do is that they find the greatness in each other and they empathize with it. They actually feel what the other person is feeling and they accentuate it. They actually focus on developing it, even though that trait may not be something that initially it appeals to them. For example, the extrovert part of the couple, the therapist said, my husband's an introverted person. He likes to go in his little cave and spend his time. I used to feel neglected and I would get very angry and say, why are you leaving me alone and neglecting me? But then she realized that that was really his special time. He was a writer, so he liked to write and create things. So she realized, I'm going to be the guardian of his solitude. I'm going to put myself in his point of view and realize he gains comfort and even pleasure from these times alone. And what happened is that when she did that, he all of a sudden started spending less time alone in his little cave and started giving her more of what she wanted, which was more conversation and physical affection. And he realized that he can give her the love that she wanted as well. Or for example, if you are the other way around, you're an introverted energy person that likes to spend time alone with an extrovert energy person that likes to be out socializing, you can say to that person, I encourage you to maximize your social fluency, your ability to connect with people. And I'm proud of you because of that. So again, these are ways that can change the way you look at relationships from, I feel resentful that you have a certain way about you, but instead of saying, you have a certain talent, a certain ability, I'm going to help you become better at that. And of course, I still want to receive love from you and receive, your energy as well. Now, the other thing you can do is at the end of the day, let's say you've had a good day and maybe have either helped someone physically or psychologically, and you ask yourself, how is my compassion today? Even give yourself a compassionate rating. Out of 100, I was at 80 today. So I helped this person that was lonely. I listened to their story. I gave a little something to a homeless person. Or maybe I didn't have a compassionate day. Maybe I got angry at people. I yelled at someone, or they yelled at me, and I didn't feel compassion coming back. Whatever it is, you want to start to look at your day in terms of, am I compassionate? And then rate yourself as saying, well, if I was compassionate today, it's been a successful day, no matter what else happened. There was a traffic jam, there was a problem at work. I gave the loving energy out, and I did it in the right way, and I feel good about myself. The other thing to think about, this is a technique I like to use, is I call it reverse giving. On my birthday, I have a reverse birthday. Instead of receiving gifts, I like to give gifts. And it makes me feel better, and I feel grateful for the friends I have. So think about it. If you do this with your friends, it doesn't have to be a physical gift or material gift. It could be listening to them, maybe giving them a massage or helping them clean their house, giving them a ride. Whatever it is, that can be a little positive gift. And it makes a big difference because now you reverse the focus from yourself to other people. And you also feel joy that you're able to give. And remember, research shows our brain waves are influenced by our giving, and we actually feel better in terms of pleasure centers when we give to others. Or, for example, everyday Christmas is another one of my little phrases. We always wait up to the end of the year and try to give gifts and rush around and buy stuff. Why not do it on a daily basis? Why not give gifts to other people every day of the year? And I'm not talking about physical gifts necessarily, but the gift of listening, the gift of attention. Instead of being on our cell phone and trying to multitask, why not give someone our full undivided attention? Someone who's telling us an issue in their life, asking for advice, they have a problem. That is such a wonderful gift that many times people don't give that to each other. And that could be something you give to people on a daily basis. Or you could buy a little card or write a little poem or do whatever, a little favor for someone. And that could be any day of the year, not just on a birthday or Christmas. Because compassion can be 365 days a year. And remember, every time you give to others, it's a blessing coming back to you in terms of your feelings. And eventually people may also help you as well because you're creating that positive energy. We talked about karma on one of our shows recently. So the positive karma you put out eventually will come back to you. And the key is to give as if you are the receiver of the gift. And this is an important part, is to give without expectations. So again, you help other people, you have this kindness that flows out from you. And it's not because you want them to like you or give you something back. It's because that's who you are. And as you're giving to them, you're also receiving your own feelings of gratitude that you can help other people. So it's a very powerful idea, that this concept that we're talking about, reverse giving and compassion. And finally, this is something that I want to challenge you guys listening today to do on a weekly basis. It's called loving kindness meditation. Let's call it the loving kindness challenge. It's kind of exercise in which you spread your loving energy out to other people who may be suffering, and you feel something very powerful coming back. Research shows that people that do loving kindness meditation have reduced depression and anxiety, improved optimism, hope, and gratitude. So let's try it right now. Reggie, I want you to try this with me, my producer. So and everyone at home, try this right now. Go ahead and close your eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. Okay. I want you to imagine, Reggie, that right now you're shining a kind of loving energy to yourself. You're giving yourself compassion and maybe forgiving yourself for any mistakes that you've made in the past. And this color light has a certain color to it. What color does it have, Reggie?
Purple.
Purple, okay. So this purple energy is going to yourself, basking you in this kind of loving feeling about yourself. You're feeling very positive and optimistic about your life and what you want to do. And now, Reggie, I want you to imagine, and people at home, that you are spreading this energy out, this loving light, whatever color it is, to those around you who are your loved ones. It could be your parents, your siblings, your spouse or romantic partner, your children, even your animals. And maybe one of them is suffering from something. Maybe it's a heartache. They're having problems in their relationships or their health or their finances or even in their mindset. And send this energy out to your loved ones and see them being healed and feeling better because of this. Now, Reggie and those at home, let's spread it out further to those your friends and your acquaintances, people you work with, coworkers, your fellow students. And also, they could be having problems. Maybe there's a single mom that can't make her bills because she has so many things to worry about. The elderly person who feels lonely and people around them have died and they don't really have anyone around them. The child that has parents that are absent or not affectionate or cold or even abusive. Or a marriage in which one of the people is suffering. Domestic violence or coldness, lack of intimacy. And you're spreading this positive energy and love. And now, Reggie, let's do this. Let's spread this out to all our fans right now, all our listeners, people that are listening right now, anyone who may be having something in their life right now that's hurting you. It could be a relationship issue, financial issue, health issue, or just emotional issue. You're down for some reason. You're not feeling your joy. Let's bask them with this positive purple energy that Reggie has. Let's take a deep breath and exhale. You just sent your purple people eating energy out to millions of people, right, in the world. And we're sending this out to our listeners, but also the world itself, the community of the world. And if you do this exercise, if you do it like 10 minutes a day, and I challenge you to do it this week, do it 10 minutes a day, breathe in and out, give love to yourself first, to your family members, friends and acquaintances, and then those in your community and your city and even the world. If you do this every day, you're going to have a big difference in the way you feel and your optimism, your hope, your gratitude. And you're going to sleep better at night as well. It's an amazing exercise. It has a lot of benefits because the idea is that you are emanating this loving energy, this compassion to other people, and it's coming back to you in many different ways. Now, of course, there are people that say, well, this sounds a little bit Pollyanna, like this is, this ideal world and you're loving everybody. It's not really possible. But, we're at the same time realistic. There are times we don't have love to give. Maybe we're burnt out. Maybe we even dislike certain people. There are times when we just don't have the love to give. But most of the time, if we practice compassion 80, 90% of the time or more, we are going to have that loving energy. And the more we exercise our compassion muscles, the more it's going to come back. And we realize that not everyone's going to accept our loving energy. Some may not even like it. They may push back on us. But again, the key is that we're going to shine it out because that's who we are. We are like the sun. We keep shining our energy no matter what. Even if people cover up and don't like what we have to offer, as long as it's done in love, that's the key. And we become more skilled at it, we become more grateful and more passionate. So again, everyone this week, try the compassion challenge. I want to hear some results. You can email us at lovetype4u@aol.com. That's LOVETYPE, the number 4, letter U at AOL. You can visit our website at loveuniversity.love, and we have a blog there that kind of capsulizes a lot of the stuff we talk about. And of course, our social media. Like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and call us if you need to at 310-226-8090. If you have any questions, you want to be on the show, we definitely love to have some guests on the show. As we're expanding our platform here and reaching more people and more clients and listeners, we definitely want to encourage you to build a community, to get out and talk to people that are like-minded, that love university students. And we're going to be having some presentations coming up next year. We have several already scheduled where we're going to have mixers and also different kind of activities for Love University students. And we're going to be filming live as well. So until next time, Love University students, this has been a very compassionate and empathetic day. We anticipate you've learned something valuable. So now put away your laptops, iBooks, notepads, and pens. Until next time, this is Dr. Avila, Love University.